I'm here to talk to you about August 1st, 1981. MTV first came on the air. Yeah, that sounded like that show Drunk History for a second, if you haven't seen that show. MTV first came out with a video called Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, followed by Pat Benatar, You Better Run. That changed everything in the music world, actually. So coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, that opened us up to a lot of music, a lot of different things, fashion, everything. So that in the 80s, my brother and I were teenagers at the time. He's a couple years younger than me. And I never forget, we would come home every day after school and just turn on MTV, and it would just be on until our parents told us to shut it off, really. And there might be a video that would come on and be like, oh man, not this video again, or oh, that video sucks, but we'd still continue to watch it. Nobody was changing the channel, except for once in a while our littlest brother would come up and want to change it to cartoons, and we had to fight with him over the TV because we only had one TV back then. So MTV, along with Skateboarder magazine, was the only way that somebody in suburban Ohio could get any insight or be introduced to anything new and different. Because, we had our classic rock, our pop radio that was playing Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And we had oldie stations that was playing 50s music like Elvis. But we didn't have anything that we thought was cool like that. Most of the people that I went to school with or neighborhood kids were listening to classic rock, Peter Frampton and Zeppelin, of course. And so once in a while you'd get introduced, hey, check out this band or that band from some neighborhood kids or a schoolmate. And that's how I got introduced to metal, Priest and Maiden and stuff like that. Scorpions, Def Leppard back when they were metal. But none of that was played on the radio, of course. None of it. Except for maybe Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming. But that's another story. But yeah, 80s music, 80s new wave was kind of cool back then, because you kind of didn't want to admit to your friends that you were listening to that stuff, because they would call you names or something because they didn't think that was cool. And it wasn't where I lived. One time, and never forget this, we were at somebody's party, high school party. Somebody was playing Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven for the 100th time in a row. And a friend of mine, we were kind of into the same kind of music. He dared me to go and change the record. So I went over there, and I don't know how he had brought an album to the party, but I think people used to do that back then, bring albums to parties. Anyway, long story short, I went and changed Led Zeppelin, took it off, didn't scratch the record, took it off, put on B-52's Rock Lobster, and of course we got kicked out of the party for that. But that's my story. That's what we did back then. And MTV and all that stuff changed everything. So I do have an 80s playlist on my channel. I'm gonna put the link right there at the bottom so you can go check it out, and then hopefully you can see some songs that maybe you haven't seen me do before. And some of it is kind of old. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my story, your history lesson. Take care.